The 23-24 Premier League season is just around the corner. Let's have a little look at the new boys today. Burnley, Sheffield United and Luton Town. We're going to have an early look and see if these three have what it takes to survive in the Premier League in their first season. Welcome back to yet another video, guys. Before we get into this, do share your thoughts down in the comments on these three teams, especially if you support one of them. If you're a Burnley, Sheffield United or Luton Town fan, let me know if you're feeling optimistic or pessimistic coming into this new Premier League season. Do make sure, of course, to hit the like button as well. It is important to hit that thumbs up button. Let's go for 500 likes on this video, and please do subscribe for more Premier League content. 75% of viewers haven't hit the subscribe button, so it's very important to subscribe if you want your Premier League fix. Let's have a little look at the three teams coming up to the Premier League. So then, from the Championship, it was 1, 2 and 3 that went up. Burnley, of course, won the league. 101 points, absolutely fantastic. They had the most points, they scored the most goals and the best defence in the league. They smashed it. Sheffield United came in second place on 91 points, 10 points behind the title winners Burnley, 11 points clear of third place Luton Town. Sheffield United did a very good job. They got off to a good start. It did seem as if Middlesbrough and Luton Town were going to be chasing them down in that final run-in, but in the end they got over the line quite comfortably and Sheffield United secured second place, and Luton Town won the playoffs. They finished in the Championship in third place and they had to get past Sunderland over two legs in the playoff semi-finals, and they beat my side Coventry in the playoff final. One thing I will say about these three teams that have come up to the Premier League is we've got quite an interesting variety here. We've got three teams from three different locations across the country, three sort of different styles of football, three very good managers that I rate, and to be honest, these are three clubs that I'm looking forward to seeing in the Premier League. Burnley, for me, were just the best team, and I'm excited to see how they can adapt going into the Premier League. Sheffield United are a club I've got so much admiration for. I think they've got an absolutely fantastic history. I really like their stadium, Bramall Lane. I'm going to miss it now it's in the Premier League, and I do think that they had one of the best fan bases in the Championship as well. And Luton Town, I just love their story. They came all the way from the National League to the Premier League. They are going to be massive underdogs, and for that reason I feel like I will be rooting for them to stay up as well this season. Even though they beat my team Coventry City in the Championship playoff final, I've forgiven you and I want you to do well in the Premier League. Another thing that's great about these three teams are the managers. Obviously, when a team gets promoted, the manager's done something right, but you've got to give all of them so much credit for what they've done. Burnley, his first season in English football as a manager, and he absolutely smashed it. They were so clear at the top of the Championship. The majority of the players that he brought into the club paid off, and they were brilliant signings, and the style of football as well. They just played some fantastic football. They played most teams off the park, and I will admit, I'm very fascinated to see this new Burnley in the Premier League next season. As for Sheffield United with Paul Heckingbottom, I think he's done an incredible job and probably gone under the radar a little bit last season. He's been there for about 20 months now, just over 18 months. Remember, he came into Sheffield United during the 21-22 season after they'd had such a slow start, and he took them from down near the bottom of the table up to the playoffs, and they just missed out in the playoff semi-finals over two legs to Nottingham Forest on penalties. The bounce back has been incredible. A lot of the recruitment has been sensible, and the way they played football last year, they were very good and they deserved to go up automatically. Remember that 5-2 win against Burnley as well. They were the only team that seemed to be able to go toe-to-toe with them. And as for Luton Town, it's just poetic for the Luton Town fans that Rob Edwards was dismissed by their rivals Watford, and in the same season he came into Luton Town, took Luton from around mid-table straight up into third place, and obviously won the playoffs as well, getting past Sunderland and Coventry. All three sides performed very well on the expected goals, which I do think is an important thing to look at. Burnley were first in the expected goals and went on to win the league. Sheffield United were second on the expected goals and finished second in the Championship. Luton Town were fifth on the expected goals but finished third, so not too far out. I do think expected goals does give a good reflection on how good a team is at creating chances and not conceding the chances against them. Fans of teams that have been promoted to the Premier League previously over the recent years will tell you what worked in the Championship doesn't always work in the Premier League, and it's going to be interesting to see how well these three adapt to the new pace of football. While all three of these clubs probably will have low budgets, I do think Vincent Kompany might be able to try and pull in the most players out of the three clubs. I think Vincent Kompany's got a style of football which might suit some players and suit clubs sending players out on loan to develop their game. Kompany does have ties and links which might help him bring extra players in that suit his style of play, and I do think some players will want to play for Vincent Kompany. He was obviously one of the Premier League greats. It's going to be interesting to see what happens with Zaroury, Benson, Brownhill, Rodriguez. How will they perform next season? And I'm also interested to see what they do with McNally, the centre-back, who they sent on loan to Coventry last year and was undoubtedly one of our best players in the second half of the season. Will they be sending him back out on loan again, or will they try and give him some game time in the Premier League maybe? As for the goalkeeper, Muric racked up 18 clean sheets in the Championship last year, which was the third most in the division. Moving on to Sheffield United, it's going to be interesting to see what additions Paul Heckingbottom makes to this team. It seems as if they went with the 5-3-2/3-5-2 formation for the majority of last season. How much is Paul Heckingbottom going to tweak with the players and the formation coming into this season, with the Premier League being a completely different kettle of fish? I do think what to expect from Sheffield United is a lot of experience at the back and in the middle, and lots of pace down the sides and up front. Wes Foderingham, the goalkeeper, racked up 17 clean sheets last season. Players that stood out for me, obviously Ollie Norwood, Sander Berger, Arma Hodzic, and their top goal scorers, of course, Iliman Ndiaye and Ollie McBurney, who both got 15 goals each last season. It's going to be interesting to see how these players perform in the Premier League next year. With Luton Town, what I expect to see in the summer transfer window is sensible and steady recruitment. Now, that's not to say that they're going to give themselves no chance of staying up. They have got fantastic players there. Carlton Morris, I do think, deserves a shot at the Premier League. Tom Lockyer, for me, was one of my favourite defenders in the Championship last season, and obviously delighted to see that he is on the mend after his collapse in the Championship playoff final. Really intrigued to see if he can take the step up to the Premier League, as it'd be a fantastic story. As for the goalkeeper situation, Ethan Horvath got the most clean sheets out of these three teams with 20 clean sheets, but his loan spell has ended and he has returned to Nottingham Forest. It's going to be interesting to see which goalkeeper Luton Town set up with at the start of the season. A lot of people will expect Luton Town to be very defensive and quite direct and set piece heavy, but I don't think you can say that until you see what business they do through the summer transfer window. Rob Edwards might shake things up a little bit, and I do think with the money that they'll have got from being promoted, they might spend it on some players that we've never heard of across Europe that might turn out to be real gems. What is worth pointing out though is I'm sure some of the money that they got from being promoted is obviously going into the stadium. Obviously Kenilworth Road does need to be dragged up to Premier League standards going into the new season, and obviously they're trying to build a new stadium as well. Hopefully that can fund that and we could see them in a new ground in the next few years. So then, what do I expect going into this new season? Well, last year we did see all three newly promoted sides survive. It doesn't happen very often. It's happened twice over the last 10 years. Not impossible it'll happen again. We did look at the maths and the history of this a few days ago, and on average 1.7 of the three newly promoted sides survive. Now I know a decimal can't survive, so it's realistic that 2 could survive. It is possible that 3 could survive. It's also possible 1 could survive, or all 3 of them could go down. Like I say, I'd love all 3 sides to stay up in the Premier League this year. Over the last 10 years, the team that's finished first has stayed up 7 times out of 10, which looks pretty good for Burnley. It seems like a decent omen. As for Sheffield United, who finished second, and Luton Town, the playoff winners, 5 out of the 10 sides that have finished in their previous position last season went down the next. So it almost seems like there's a 50% chance for Sheffield United and Luton Town if you're just going off the history. I'll sign off this video by saying do make sure to get your comments down below, especially, as I say, if you're a Burnley, Sheffield United or Luton Town fan. I will be looking at the comments on this video and I am intrigued to see your thoughts. We will be doing another Premier League video tomorrow, so do join us for that one. As for now, make sure to like, make sure to subscribe, and I will see you all in the next one. Peace out.